everybody, it is Tat from All Ages of Geek. We're here at PAX East 2025, and I am here with the founder of One More Games to chat all about Swapmeat. Very intrigued by the name.
Swapmeat is a third-person shooter. It's a roguelite, it's cooperative, it's 1 to 4 players, and it's the only game on the entire show floor where you can swap your meat with the enemies you defeat.
Interesting, interesting.
So defeating enemies drops parts on the ground, we call that meat. There's 3 of them, legs, torso, head. When you get one, you gain the abilities of the enemy. It creates interesting combinations, and like I said, it's cooperative. You start a run, do 3 planets, fight a boss at the end. The bosses are inspired by Warcraft, Final Fantasy XIV, Destiny. They're set pieces. Hopefully they're very fun.
Love it. And one important thing a lot of people actually don't think about is really that important, but how did you come up with the name of your game? Because like obviously it's like the fun part about it, but it's also like, ooh, Google and all the SEO fun stuff that no one wants to think about. But how did you come up with that name? Because it definitely intrigued me when I saw you guys like reach out. I was like, ooh, that name.
The person that came up with the name was our art director, Jason Stokes. When we were building this, he's the person that had the idea, like maybe we should have interchangeable body parts that have, and what does that do? What does that look like? He had a prototype that he had made, and we were building this roguelike shooter, and he's like, hey, I got this prototype, what do you think? And the initial name that we used internally was Meat Mixing, which we just thought was a funny, like, if you add 2 words together, they're just like, why is that funny? Like, gas station oysters. Not particularly appetizing. Like, what does that look like? Is that gray? Is that warm? Probably, right? Or more fingers. There's nothing wrong with those words, but you added them together, right? Anyway, so we looked at Meat Mixing, like, that's funny. And then, we had a call for, like, what are the names of the game? And we had, like, 3 or 4 different options. I spoke with our lawyer about trademarking, and I gave him that one. He said, stop. That's the one.
That's it.
And it's because it's literally the thing that you do in the game.
Yeah.
Like first-person shooter. What's that? Well, I'm in the first-person mode and I'm shooting, and so Swapmeat is literally like the mechanic in the game, and so it was an obvious no-brainer. We are clearly trying to make something that's humorous, playful. We're inspired by Rick and Morty, Invader Zim, Tim and Eric, I Think You Should Leave, 90s Nickelodeon, Adult Swim from the 2000s. We're not intentionally making that joke, but it's okay if like people play in that space and think it's funny. It is not trying to be crude in any way. It is absolutely supposed to be playful, and that's why like a lot of the stuff in the game, a lot of things are just like stuff that employees, teammates, they've come together and we have this. I have this concept at the studio, which is come to work every day and try to make each other laugh. And if you can do that, you're going to make players laugh too. And make a safe space in the writer's room, just try anything, and then you end up with things named like Gobblegazer or Glizzy Glider or there's a lot of names.
That's awesome. And one thing that really intrigued me specifically with your game is the color. I love the color of the game. How did you guys come up with the art design and all of that stuff? The color is very, very nice.
Absolutely. Well, first of all, thank you so much for that. I'll pass it again. I gotta say, Jason's our art director. One of the things that we knew is that in building something that is this absurd, it has to be playful and therefore it has to be colorful. We want something to be eye-catching. We want something that has broad appeal. If we made this photorealistic, it'd be a very different kind of party.
Like it's so different.
It's like sitting next to Dead by Daylight, right? Like awesome game, but like it's just not the same vibe, right? And so we knew that had to be vibrant and colorful, and it also matches with a lot of the inspirations that we have. And then the animation, that is a thing that you see the color palette, but then the character when they're moving, it's just like wiggly and fun, and a lot of that is because you're not a human in there. You're a smart meat. You're a little meat wad that has these little tentacles that pull stuff together. So like he's holding as hard as he can, but he doesn't have that much strength. We look at games like Fortnite, which is a beautiful game as well and very colorful, and we just knew that it had a pop.
And I have 3 more questions for you. One is what really inspired this game? Like I guess like when did you were sitting down and you're like, oh, we gotta make this game?
Well, like I was sleeping. The angels came down. No,
they're like, Swapmeat.
Someone came, knocked on my door one day, said, no one's made a game about swapping meat, and they ran away. I don't know. No. it all comes down to market research at first, which is a really boring way to start. But we were going to start building another game, and what I think game developers are entertainers, and so you entertain an audience. You have to find who that audience is, and one of the audiences that I was passionate about was the roguelite audience, or roguelike audience. It's a rising tides genre. If you look at someone's Steam library, if they own a game like Hades or Risk of Rain 2, which we're also inspired by, and they have like 10 hours in it, they probably have 5 other games that are very similar, with like 10 plus hours in them, right? And I knew that I wanted us to make a shooter. Shooters a really broad appeal. I also am particularly a giant fan of shooters, and a number of people at our studio are. I was really inspired by Quake 3 and Overwatch when I was building the combat in this. Co-op was also critical. We knew that multiplayer, online, and cooperative is what we wanted to do. You asked a little bit ago off camera, one more game, what is it, and that, like, I'll just say again, is that's the feeling of it's a Friday night, everyone's trying to go to bed, and someone in the squad is like, no, come on, one more game.
And then you don't sleep.
Yeah, you don't sleep anyway. Then you go to work an hour later, you're just zooted, we knew we wanted to play co-op, and then from day one, I knew that we needed to have drop-in, drop-out multiplayer, which means that if you were on the last level and your friends are on the last boss, and you log on, you just finished the tutorial, I need you, or don't, hold escape, I don't care, but if you jump in and you fight the final boss with them, you'll level up all the way to whatever they have, even during a run, and if you beat that boss and go back to your game, you'll have that completed. We looked at Diablo 2 for inspiration there, where if you stripped out the RPG mechanics and you just jumped into a game where someone's fighting Girl, you beat it, you get it in your quest line. That's great, you keep it. A lot of the design was about respecting the player's time. I don't need any more chores. I don't have time for chores. I can't just log into 5 games a day just to log in to do something. So we also knew that it was going to be a premium game where it's just a price tag that you buy, and hopefully you enjoy it, give us feedback, tell us about it, invite your friends, and that was the high level. The rest of the craziness came because of that spec, and mostly I'd say, Jason had this prototype, he had this idea, and we have a very let's try it mentality at one more game, we're also heavily inspired by Gremlins too. Best.
Yes, I haven't heard that in a while. I love that.
Let me continue to remind you why it's the best sequel of all time, right? So every 30 seconds in the background there's a gag. And I mentioned, like, come to work, make sure you laugh, and so in Swapmeat there are a lot of background things that you'll notice and say, like, what is that? Why did that happen? Who did that?
I love that.
We are sneaking in Easter eggs constantly, and that's also part of I'd say the soul of the game.
That's so cool. And then this question, maybe it'll be easy for you. Some people don't know what to say, but how would you pitch your game in 3 to 5 words?
Dynamic runtime hero creation.
I love it. And my last question to you is, where can everyone support your guys' work?
Please find us on playswapmeat.com. We are running a public playtest. It'll be our 5th one on May 15th to May 22nd. So if you weren't able to join us at PAX East and see us at the floor, we'll be playing even more improved version of this build with 2 solar systems, 2 bosses. Right now you're only playing the first solar system. You can also find us on Steam. If you can get a wish list, it's the most that anyone can do for us. And if you sign up for the playtest, join our Discord. We got a great community in there. We've been building the game for about a little over a year and a half now, and public testing has been for about a year. We're going to continue to engage that community, make the best game that we possibly can, and when it's ready, we'll release it.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for doing the interview with us, and be sure to wishlist Swapmeat right now. That is a threat. You must do it. All right, bye guys.